She was making $14 an hour 2 days a week at a small retail shop in Georgia. And every single month, her family was just barely making ends meet. And every single night, she was lying awake thinking the same thought over and over again. This is my fault.
Is it ever going to be about me again? Like, who even am I?
Her son was in school full time. She had more hours in the day than she'd ever had, but she had no idea what to do with them. She felt lost. She felt like she wasn't contributing anything. And she started to believe that maybe this was just what her life was gonna look like from now on. Then one night she was scrolling Instagram and something stopped her. A creator talking about getting paid to make content from home. And then something about it clicked in a way that nothing else had clicked before.
I've got nothing to lose and my back is kind of against the wall.
But here's the thing, she had doubts. And honestly, nothing about her situation said this is gonna work. Everything around her was telling her just to stay where she was and be grateful for the $14 an hour. Then she did it anyway. She put in the work, she took the risk, she went through the trials, tribulations, and defeats, and she made it out on top. A few months later, she went full-time and now contracted over $6,000 in brand deals. And she's already made more creating content than she made in her entire job in 2025. And this week, her dream brand landed in her inbox. They just found her.
I was actually like almost hyperventilating because I didn't think, I was like, we're just going to shoot for a goal and we'll see what happens.
So in this episode, she breaks down what it actually feels like to start from nothing as a mom with no experience, the one belief she had to kill before anything started working, and why the thing she thought would hold her back turned out to be the thing that propelled her income forward. I'm Gloria Stonelake. This is Sydney, and you're watching UGC World. Hi, Sydney.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast. For everybody who doesn't know you, give a quick introduction of who you are, your background, where you're from, and just fill us in.
Yeah, so I'm Sydney. I am in Athens, Georgia, by way of Denver, Colorado, by way of Atlanta, Georgia. So I've been kind of a little back and forth. I've worked in sales, specifically bridal sales, for about 10 years and loved it. And then moved back to Georgia from Colorado 2 years ago and had to leave that job behind, even though it was like my favorite thing I've ever done. So yeah, like you said, it's been a bit of a whirlwind the last couple of years, figuring out who I am here, and feeling like I'm more than just a mom, but trying to find my identity again now that my kid is a little bit more independent and needs me a little bit less. So yeah, that's how UGC kind of came into my life, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I like that authenticity. You were working at a bridal shop, and then you moved, and then you kind of started over and started fresh. And then what happened is that you landed a job and you ended up at a place that was paying you $14 an hour. And it sounds like that wasn't fulfilling to you. So what really propelled you to just go search on the internet, search online for, UGC or for something to help you out of there?
Yeah, honestly, like it found me. It was not really me actively looking. Like I was always open to something new, but my husband's a paramedic, so his schedule is kind of crazy. And I needed a job that would allow me to still have flexibility for that kind of life. Because we don't have childcare and full-time help or anything like that. So going to like a 9 to 5 really wasn't going to work. And I always wanted to work from home, and especially for myself, but didn't really know how to make that happen. Especially with my skill set, I was like, I have no idea what to do with this. So yeah, I was scrolling Instagram and saw a different creator talking about UGC, and I was like, wait a second, this is possible. Like I didn't even know what it was. I'd never heard of it before, but I've of course seen UGC in ads all the time. Like we all have, but didn't really realize like what it was. So I think it really lit a fire in my belly a little bit, because I was like, I have a background in sales. I went to school for mass media. I've been editing since before editing was digitized. Like I've been doing it a really long time. And the opportunity to work on my own was really appealing.
I like that. You found like different skill sets that you had in the past. Maybe like you said media and maybe editing in the past, and you're like, okay, why can't I just use these skill sets and put them into my new business? That's super inspiring. And then for you then, for everybody listening, like, do you believe that like you have to have, like you had no background in UGC, but you had background in other things that helped you with UGC. Do you believe that you have to have a background in other things that actually propel you forward with UGC, or can you start fresh? What is your opinion about that for the newer people listening to this?
Yeah, I think anyone can do it just so long as they know and understand what it takes to do it. It's not an easy job by any means. And yes, it like a certain set of skills is really nice to have. And I think was part of the reason why I was so keen to do it, because I did have those skills already. But if you feel called to UGC and you don't have like a degree in mass media like I do, that I don't think it makes a difference, because between all of the resources online on how to edit and how to do social media and how to pitch brands, like even with like free available content, you can learn a lot on your own. So I think it's just really more about initiative and having a hunger for it than anything else.
I like it. It's a mindset thing. And we'll jump into that
100%.
a little bit more later, because I know you've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations that gave you a lot of wisdom through your journey. And I think that's, something beautiful we're going to unwrap later. So with that being said, Sydney, how long total did you mention that you're in the UGC, industry for?
Let's see, it's been since October of 2025. So about 5 months that I've been doing it.
So you've been doing UGC for 5 months, and then you saw those Instagram videos and decided to kind of like give it a try. So what were your like first attempts like with UGC, like picking up your phone and like filming for the first time?
Yeah, it's funny because like I starting out was like, I'm so proud of this work. And I look back and I'm like, oof, I've come a long way in a really short amount of time. Yeah. Like those early videos are like not on the portfolio anymore. But if you like go super far back in my Instagram, you'll find them. It was really just finding things around my house. Like that's like the number one piece of advice to kind of get started is like just make things that you already know and like are comfortable talking about. So I tried to mix it up. I did like my sunscreen that I wear every day, and I did like a local candle brand that we sold at the store that I worked at. I did liquid IV because I was like, let's just go for something big and like tag them in it and see what happens. And nothing did, but it was still kind of cool. And that video actually got me another job as an example because they liked it and they're like, please recreate this for us. So that was cool. But it was just about kind of figuring out CapCut, because I'd never used that before, and figuring out how to script write properly to make conversion driven dialogue. So there was definitely like, even with the experience that I had, I've been out of the game for a while. And so it was about kind of coming back in and figuring out what works and what brands want to see, and just believing that I could do it. And I had a lot of support from my family too. They're like, this is so good. So that was kind of fun. Yeah,
that's awesome. So with you, Sydney, like it seems like you went through a lot of like trials and tribulations, even in the beginning with your first attempts. You mentioned that it was all about believing in yourself. What kind of doubts did you have at the very beginning of your UGC journey? And what kind of tribulations did you kind of go through that you overcame over time?
Yeah, pitching was terrifying. The idea of like selling myself to big brands, or any brands. I'm like, you kind of forget that they're real people. And that they are approachable and they are like, you're able to talk to them. But even still, that can be really daunting. I'm putting myself and my work out there for people to see publicly. So it's, I had to really kind of get over the fear of potential rejection, because that's just part of it. And it's never personal, but sometimes it can feel that way. And just knowing the right systems to kind of create the business. I felt like there were so many ways to do it that I couldn't figure out one way to do it. I was like, where do I even begin trying to reach out to brands or trying to find jobs or any of that? Because I was like, I can create content. That's for me the easy part. So the business side of it, the admin, the day-to-day task is really where I've grown the most, I think.
Wow. Yeah, for sure. UGC is not as easy as it seems. We have to input systems, right? We'll talk about in a second what that means, but like systems and strategies and processes to make it work so it's actually a business. How long for you, Sydney, did it take to realize that it wasn't as easy as those like Instagram and TikTok influencers kind of made it seem?
It was pretty much right away. I think there's the idea of being sold the dream. And of course, I feel like a lot of things in Instagram and, on social media will come off kind of hyperbolic in a way. Like, it's so easy to make $10,000 a month. Anybody can do it. Okay, that's true. Anybody can do it, but how? And there's a lot of information to be had. But if you're going at it alone, it's going to be kind of a slow game. At least that's how it felt to me. I'm like, I'm really figuring all this out by myself. I mean, most of the people that I talk to about UGC, even still, they're like, what is that? I'm like, okay, so there's no one in my life that knows what this is like and I can turn to and relate to. I have like one friend who used to do it back a few years ago that I could talk to, but otherwise I'm like, there was when you're solo doing it, it's a lot of trial and error. And I feel like I'm a lot more error than anything else.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's very common when we start something fresh and new for the first time, we're going to go through those errors, definitely. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we got to figure out a way to like get out of them. And then we put something together and we engineer processes and ways, and we just subconsciously even sometimes like go through those battles and hurdles so we can, become better and come out on the top afterwards, which is totally relatable. For you, then you mentioned that like no one around you knew much about UGC. What was your first impression of UGC? How did you define UGC, and how do you look at UGC now? Like, define it.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it was kind of tricky to sum up quickly. I'm like, okay, well, those ads that you see online that look like real people selling you things. I'm like, that's essentially UGC, right? And I feel like that's the very like layman's version of it. Now, when people ask what I do, because it's my full-time job, I tell them I work in digital marketing, which I do, right? I'm advertising, I'm working with brands. And so I feel like it's funny because a lot of people automatically assume when I say I do user-generated content, I make content for brands, that I'm an influencer, which I'm not. Like, I have just over 1,200 followers on Instagram. I've never gone viral. Like, it's nothing like that. But the way that I spin it now, I feel like saying I work in digital marketing, creating content for brands to post on their social media. It's like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, I think it takes a little bit of this weird stigma of influencer marketing that still exists for whatever reason, and makes it a little bit more credible and makes me look a little bit more credible just on how I spin what I do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very versatile. Yes, UGC is one thing, right? Creating videos for brands and marketing them and helping them promote their product, essentially. But also, how I look at it a little bit, we create videos so the brands can like distribute the videos, right? And a lot of creators think that they need a huge following and they need like a ton of experience and they need like a ton of money and like more than just like the basics. So for you, what did you kind of realize moving forward that was essential to become like a successful UGC creator?
A lot of drive and consistency. I think the success is really found in the boring tasks. Like I said, for me, creating the content, filming the content, doing the editing, all of that, the creative side of it is the fun and, for me, not so difficult part. But it's in the constant pitching, the constant applying, the constant responding, the intentional things you have to do with your business that you have to do day over day that may seem like they're not doing anything, they're doing something. And I just have to remember that even if it feels tedious or repetitive, it's what's propelled me so far.
Yeah, for sure. So the consistency and the grit overall has helped you. I guess, how long did it take you to land your first paid brand deal as a creator then, as a newer creator back 5 months ago?
Yeah, I feel really blessed because it took me 2 weeks, I think, on Upwork. I don't remember how I came across Upwork. I think maybe it was just one of those platforms that a lot of creators were talking about. And I just kind of figured out how to use it and applied for a job, and they responded right away and needed something right away. And I knocked that job out for them in 3 hours, in the time between they hired me and school pickup. So I was able to get that fully done and submitted to them. And it was $150, and they tipped me $20, and they sent me the script for it, which was great. So I was like, okay, cool. First gig, like, pays pretty well. And they've hired me for more work since, but I feel very lucky. And I mean, I work hard, but I feel really lucky that it happened kind of quickly for me.
Definitely. I think that that's a very cool story. First UGC deal in 2 weeks. And I feel like a lot of people jump in the industry and think, boom, a million deals can just land on their lap from like thin air, right? But why do
Mhm.
you feel like you said that you put in hard work? Like, what was that hard work? And why do you feel like you earned and deserved that over time, and it wasn't luck?
Yeah, I think it was just a lot of like preparation. So I studied a lot. I studied other people's content a lot, what works. And my portfolio looked pretty good early on. It's obviously evolved since then, but I think I put very plainly like who I am, what my intentions are, and let my work speak for itself, which was nice. And then I was really professional. Like even with that first job, I delivered quickly. I executed the script. I was communicative when I had questions. So it was just, I think communication is really important overall anyway, that they wanted to hire me again, which is really nice. So yeah, I think it was just like setting myself up and not being afraid to kind of pitch simultaneously, like while I was getting my ducks in a row, so that at least I could get myself out there while still building things on the back end.
100%. And you put everything together. You put the studying work in, you put the swiping or like the analyzing other videos and how they work. And that's a lot of work that goes into it. So it wasn't just luck. You put in the work to actually get a result, right? Which is what everyone should expect. Input equals output. For you, Sydney, I know you were balancing a lot at the time when we met, right? At the beginning of your journey about 5 months ago, you were balancing, you have a kid, right? And a husband to take care of. And then you were working as well. And then you're starting a UGC business and there's just a lot on your plate. How, as like a mother of a 5 or 6 year old, right?
Yeah, he's 5, yeah.
5-year-old, how did you balance your UGC journey at the beginning with all of that on your plate?
Yeah, I think for me, UGC was my passion project. So when you have a bit of a passion project, you want to fit it in wherever you can. It wasn't something that felt burdensome to me because I was genuinely excited to be doing it. Like in my free time, it's what I want to be doing. So it didn't feel like I had to really go far outside of my realm of possibility. And it was lucky that I was only working 2 days a week because the rest of the time being home with my son, or, on the days that my husband was off, I'm like, cool, I'm going to be working. Like, this is kind of what my schedule is. So in the mornings, before the gym, I would do some work. And then in the evenings after dinner during bedtime, I would do some work. And you just kind of find pockets in your life that are available and fill them with your own personal work, posting online and pitching and doing all the things that you kind of need to do. It's like, okay, cool, I have 20 minutes. I can probably knock out filming this in that amount of time, right? So I think that, we all have the time. It's just how we're using it. Are we getting stuck in like scrolling loops, or are we sleeping in too late, or are we just not utilizing our time and calling it busy, or are we actually finding the time to make things count?
I like that response. Hey, be very cautious of your time. This is a time. Our UGC business, we're changing our life and we got to take life very seriously now, right? Every second counts, every moment counts, because this is how serious running a business is, right? But also, I think it's more simple than a lot of people put it out to be. But it also is difficult at the same time when you're managing, multiple things. You just got to make it work for you. And it's something that's only going to work if you put both of your feet in, right? And even like filming content, like for a lot of like moms like you, it could be very daunting, and it could be very like scary to put, yourself online. And a lot of people out there I know are scared of doing that act of just creating so much content, putting it online, the chances of going viral. Some people, that scares them. So what advice would you give to other moms like you that might just be a little bit scared of putting themselves out there on the internet?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are boundaries with everything. And it's important to have boundaries with the internet too, because it is a vast cesspool if you let it be. And so for me, I wasn't afraid. Like I've never gone viral before, so I don't know kind of what comes with that. Although I did have a comment on somebody else's post go viral. It's got like 120 something thousand likes at this point.
Oh, wow.
In comments that I'm just like, can I turn this off? Being, like Instagram famous was like never the goal. I don't have a desire for that sort of attention, but at the same time, like I don't share my son online. even in on my personal accounts, I don't. And that's just a personal choice. I'd rather him be old enough to make those decisions. So for me, it's really about just me putting myself out there. And that doesn't seem so scary. Like truly, I'm just making connections with other creators. I'm making connections with brands, just other people. And like, I get to have a platform where I get to say what I want and make what I want. And so it really doesn't feel that scary to me, because it's like a kind of diary or time capsule in a way.
Yeah, for sure. You can make it personal and you can make it your own. And that's the cool thing about UGC. It's all about like, you are your own brand essentially. And it's cool. It's the best business model out there in my opinion, because it's like you can create your own business around you and what you look like in your avatar and the companies that are targeting you, which is very, very dope. So with that being said, Sydney, it's been 5 months. How much have you grown with UGC overall when it comes to income? And I know I did a tidbit earlier, but I want to hear from you. How did you grow and how much did you grow with your UGC journey around your income?
Yeah, I'm so grateful that it's compounded pretty quickly. And my first month in the academy, I was doing the 30-day challenge, trying to post every day. I did not make every single day, but I did the best I could. And with that, I created a series, and it was called 30 Days of Me Becoming Delusional Enough to Actually Believe in Myself. And I was just trying to like hype myself up and hype up new creators and truly just like do things, do the work, and for 30 days, see where it gets me, because I was truly starting at $0 in my bank account at that point. Like, there was nothing to lose. So I was like, you know what? You can only go up from here. So just do the work and say yes to the opportunities and see what happens. And I ended up closing out that month with almost $600. Which was amazing. I was like, okay, like if you lock in for 30 days, like you can make some real money. And once you kind of have a taste for that art of the deal and the success and the joy that comes with that, it was like, okay, I got to keep going. And like it's working, like the proof of concept is there. And so that was in November. And then this month I am on track to potentially contract almost $4,000 for the month of March after a really slow January and a little bit of a better February. So it's just over, it went kind of up and then it went down and then went back up again, which is normal in life. Like we can't expect everything to be an upward trajectory all the time. But yeah, I set myself a goal after last month. I closed out at almost 2,000. I was like, we're going to double that this month and just see what happens. And I'm so close. I'm so close.
That's absolutely amazing. And it must feel so refreshing as a mother and as someone who's like, who you said you put that series together of just like believing in myself and cheering people on. You probably went through that own transformation as you create content. And that's such a powerful thing, creating content about like your own transformation, what you're going through, authenticity, because you can get paid freaking money for it. Right. And that's so freaking cool that you started that series and then it compounded into money, right? $600 your first month. And then overall you contracted thousands, multiples of thousands of dollars over time. And that's so inspiring. Or I guess like, let me ask you this. I know you texted me the other day of some insane news. Break down what that news was.
Yeah, and nothing's like locked in. So I'm like, please don't let this be a jinx. It's good. So I made a day in the life video just kind of like randomly because I wanted to incorporate more kind of day-to-day behind the scenes on my Instagram. And when I did that, I mentioned that I'm trying to wear my hair curly more often. And I plugged this product called Air Dry Cream from JVN Hair. And just like was like, I'm going to shoot my shot and like, let's do a collab because my before and after results are amazing. Like, thought it could be something, but like was not banking on it. And I posted that 2 days ago. And then yesterday I got an email in my inbox from JVN Hair asking to work with me, offering me money for a video and usage rights. And I was like maybe probably overreacting, but I was just so excited that I was actually like almost hyperventilating. Because I was like, we're just going to shoot for a goal and we'll see what happens. Like just put things out into the universe and see what comes back to me. And the fact that it happened so quickly, like such a dream brand to work for. I have been a loyal customer for a long time. And so, yeah, this would be like the first like big well-known brand that I would get to work with, which is so exciting. And like, I know will lead to more things, which is also really exciting. Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's insane. I think you manifested that through like all of the work that you put in. It wasn't luck. And then you're telling me earlier before the podcast, you're like, you're having a bad day and you're like, I need something going on. And then God just dropped it on your lap. Like, boom.
Yeah, I was so grumpy yesterday. I was like, I'm in a funk. I'm feeling sorry for myself. Like, what if I don't make my goal this month? Like, everything feels slow. And then that happened. And I was like, okay, snap out of it. Like, it's okay. Like, God's got your back. You just have to ask God or the universe or whatever you believe it for what you want, because like there's abundance to spare. We say the same thing. Like, money exists on the internet. Why don't you get yourself a piece? Like, the same thing comes from manifesting or from, just asking the gods for what you want, because like there's abundance to spare for sure.
100%. Definitely. I think I love that mindset. You've had this mindset through the whole entire time. It seems like where you're just like, okay, at the very beginning, you're at the bottom of the bottom, right? Where you're just like, wait, I got $0 and I can go up from here. But someone could look at that same situation. I have $0 and I'm just going to keep going down. Right. So what is behind that mindset? It seems like you've always had a positive attitude. I know we're not always positive and we're not, nobody's perfect with this stuff. But same time, Sydney, it seems like you've had, a really good mindset, behind your business so far. And how do you think that's compounded over time and impacted your business? And how do you cultivate that mindset in the first place for the people who don't understand?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a relentlessness. Right? Like I know I can do things and I know my value and I know where I've been and how hard I've worked, and I'm not willing to settle for less than that. And hard stuff happens. Yeah. Hard stuff happens to everybody, especially these days. Like, life is just not easy. And so I think there's this kind of F it mindset that I'm like, I've got nothing to lose and my back is kind of against the wall, and either this is going to work or it's not going to work. And if it doesn't work, we pivot and figure out something else. But I put a lot of pressure on myself. I'm not going to lie. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I am a perfectionist to the point of it being a problem sometimes. Yeah. But with that, I think comes this annoying drive to just do something about it. I feel like I want to have control over the outcome of my life because I only get to do this once. I don't want to look back on it with regret. So there's just a lot of reasons why. And I think if you come back to that intention and that why you started in the first place, even on bad days, you're like, okay, let me get up and just send one pitch. Even if I can do just a little bit today, that's better than doing nothing. So yeah, I just am constantly reminding myself, you could have $0 again if you don't keep going. Just get up and do it, Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I like that mentality. Just 1% better every day. It's simple. Simple, but not easy. Definitely.
Not easy. Yeah, absolutely.
So for you then, you contracted multiples of thousands of dollars with UGC, which is absolutely wonderful. So how has UGC changed your life, especially with, a son and a husband and, going from where you came from? How has it changed your life?
It's given me empowerment again, honestly. I feel when I had my son, I took some time off and my whole life was just dedicated to him and my family. And that's what comes with that. You start a family in that way and you are sacrificing yourself a lot. And at some point you're like, oh, is this even is it ever going to be about me again? Who even am I? I'll be 40 in a couple of years. I don't want to be that person who is this is not where I wanted to be at 40, Yeah. And so I just, it was just a matter of I want something for myself again to make me feel like myself again. And making time for my business is a form of self-care for me. I'm prioritizing myself. I'm prioritizing what I want, and I'm prioritizing my work. And my son is actually so excited. He's like, Mom, are you making videos? And he'll pretend to make his own videos, which is so cute. And my husband has always been beyond supportive in anything I've ever done or wanted to do. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's wonderful. I really love that mentality that you're turning your business less into a chore that you have to do that will make you money and more so into something that you get to do. and you get to live with and you get to pursue because it's fucking fun. Come on. UGC is
absolutely.
really, really fun.
It's so fun.
It's so cool that we can make a full-time income with this, you know? So, like, how does it feel to make money online with UGC then? I feel like it's a big gap for people transitioning into online business, and you're able to be profitable with it, you know?
Yeah, how does it feel? It feels awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I'm like, there's a lot of money to be had, and these businesses have a lot to give. And why not me? I tell myself that all the time when I ever like doubt or even little things, like just why not me? Why can't I be the person who does this successfully and like makes a cool example out of the process, you know? And so I think making money online is just the coolest. And like for me to be able to live life on my terms in this way, not feeling chained to a desk or chained to a boss or anything like that. You know, yes, I'm working for other people, but I'm providing a service for them. It's not like they're bossing me around. It's a collaborative effort and a strategic partnership. And I think that's a really cool way to be able to like empower myself to like be like, I built that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Very empowering when you put work in and you see a result. That's the best feeling ever of like, wow, that result of money. And you're just like, damn, this is from all of the work that I put in, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels probably amazing. So with that being said, what's different about like your day-to-day life now compared to when you're like struggling?
Yeah, well, I'm still like on the grind for sure. I'm like I said, I like to kind of know what's happening next and have things lined up. So I'm always just kind of head down making things happen. But I'm able to be home all the time, which for some people would hate that. But I'm like, I don't wake up and be like, oh, I have to go to work today. Like, like some days are like, I'm like, oh, I don't feel like talking to people, but I don't really have to do that much of that. And I get to pick up my kid from school every day and spend time with him. And, you know, my family gets to have dinner together every single night. And I'm not at the mercy of someone else's schedule. So it's nice to be able to have that sort of freedom.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, freedom looks different for everyone, but I think for you, it came with like quitting your job, leaving that behind and finding your own authentic path with something that you're passionate about, which is very beautiful. So with that being said, you mentioned something earlier. You said put your head down. And I know earlier we're also talking about systems. What were the main few maybe systems, processes, things that you put inside of your business for those who don't even know much about UGC to actually move it forward this much in 5 months?
Yeah, it's a lot of repetition. I use Bento to send pitches for me and to follow up on those pitches for me. So it's nice to be able to automate things, to be able to have them running in the background. So I'm not spending hours a day manually pitching. And then while that's happening, I'm also on Backstage. I'm also on Upwork. I'm also on Reddit. So I'm chasing warm leads too. People who are like, we want UGC. I'm like, cool, I have that. So the culmination of those two things, in addition to posting on social media regularly, that's where I feel like inbounds are coming from. And I feel like I can stay on top of my work and have consistent months and growing months because I just keep up with the systems and the things that are working, I continue to do. Like even sometimes like if Bento is like, okay, I didn't get much of a response this month, or I didn't get much of a response with this campaign. If 4 people saw my email, like that means that 4 people now know who I am, right? So it's better than 0. It's just, I feel like there's a visibility that comes with those systems that you want to just like keep putting yourself in front of brands. It's going to take time, but it will pay off.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like pitching was a huge thing that brought business over to you because, of course, you got to make a name in the industry. Brands are not going to automatically just know who you are if you randomly just become a UGC creator, which leads to building a portfolio, which is, I think, is one of the first things that we need to do as a creator. So how was it for you building that first initial portfolio?
Yeah, I did a lot of research into portfolios and what they should look like because I'd never made one before. So there was that example content. I think I made like 4 example videos in the beginning that were up. As far as like brands I worked with, I put like my old jobs on there and like just something to kind of fill that space and introducing myself and kind of like the bare basics. Like you don't need much in the beginning, just like so long as people can see your work and like what you can do, that's really the most important thing. Cause like most brands aren't going to get to your about me section anyway, and that's totally fine. Like I really don't care if you read that. It's there if you want to, though. So it's always a work in progress. It's always evolving and growing, which is so fun. I love every time I finish up a project because I give myself the reward of putting my content on my portfolio when I'm done with the project. So it's always fun to add and move things around and just like see how much I've grown and add positive feedback and the brand logo that I've worked with. And I'm like, wow, like this is really cool that like these people have trusted me with their content, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a portfolio is one of those things where for me personally, I just like got to express myself with it and like change everything about it and then also put my content on there. It's like satisfying when you're like very proud of your work, but you also same time get to send it to brands, which is so freaking cool. So wow, it seems like you had like a very like eventful journey so far, but it's paid off a ton. So for you, Sydney, what is next for you? Where do you see this all going for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I of course want to continue to grow. I want to get more organized and just make sure that my business is running properly. And I mean, I feel like there's always that evolution too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I hope in the next 6 months I can reach a 5-figure month. That is the dream. So I'm going to keep at it and keep chipping away and hoping too that, you know, the more work I do, the more inbounds come in, the more opportunities are available to me. So long as I keep showing up, for sure.
Beautiful. And where do you want to take it right now? You're at that, you said 4K contracted.
Yeah.
Where do you want to, or is it 4K contracted right now?
It's hold on, I can look. It's almost 4K contracted right now.
Okay, sure. And then cash collected, how much was so far this month?
So far this month, I'm at $1,951.
Wow.
So that's really good. And yeah, so if I'm at 2631.95 contracted at the moment, but when those other 2, I've got 2 like really good deals working right now that are going to bring in another $1,100. So that'll add on and get me closer to that goal for sure.
That's beautiful. See, that's the power of compounding. You're getting, you put the compounds in, right, which is the pitching, the videos, the work and the research in, and boom, you get paid an equal proportion in the background just through the compound effect later on. And that's beautiful how you kind of rode the wave through this all. You went through trials, tribulations, defeats, but and we still are going through that. Like business owners always go through that. That's business, solving problems, for goodness sakes. But it's so cool that you built this much progress and this much of a brand for yourself so far in the industry. And I see how it's definitely like paid off. So with that being said, Sydney, like what advice would you give someone who was like someone who's where you were 18 months ago?
Yeah, that's a good question. First of all, you can change your mind about your life at any point. Just because you are in one place doesn't mean you can't change that tomorrow. You just need the right motivation and the right headspace to be able to accept that open door. If you're feeling down, it always gets better. And 2, like your first month, let's say doing UGC is a build. It's not gonna automatically be, like you said, brands knocking down your door because you say online that you do UGC. Yeah. There's a lot of work that comes with it. There's a lot of grind that goes with it. So you may not see things happen right away. And that's okay. And that's super normal. But, you know, get on platforms, get on Instagram, put yourself out there, make connections, and give yourself grace and patience through the process, because it is a process. But if you give up after a bunch of no's for 4 weeks, then it's never going to get anywhere. It will always turn. It will always get better. But you just have to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's wonderful wisdom right there. Awesome. So how important was like having mentorship in this transformation you had with UGC?
Yeah, it was super important. And I knew that coming into joining UGC Academy, that I was like, I just want someone to help me, not necessarily handhold me. I don't think I ever needed that, but to provide guidance and feedback, whether it was just you or the community or any of the other coaches attending the live calls, like that was super helpful, because it's so much more personal than you think it's going to be. I mean, coming into it, I was like, oh, I'm just like one of a bunch of 100 people. Like, there are going to be so many people on these calls. But no, it's really like, it does feel very one-on-one kind of group coaching. And so I don't think I would have been able to progress as quickly on my own as I did with the support of UGC Academy, because I always have someone I can ask questions to, and I have access to resources I wouldn't have had before. I feel like I would have been kind of going in circles or like spinning my wheels a little bit, taking longer to get to this point. But because I had clear direction and I had a bit of a roadmap to help me figure things out faster, I've been able to make money and get dream brands to reach out to me. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate that honesty. It was a wonderful time having you, and you've succeeded so much. We actually pulled you in as a UGC coach inside of the academy as well. So how has that experience been so far? Like, going from being a beginner creator to now teaching and coaching beginner creators?
It's been a whirlwind. I would be lying to you if I didn't have like a little imposter syndrome with it, because I'm like, but I'm also new at this, like I feel like that's normal. But I love to teach. Every job I've ever had, whether it was at restaurants or at the bridal shop or when I was selling homes and whatever, I've always trained employees. And so with that, I'm like, I feel like I do a really good job of just retaining information. I learn things, I know how to execute them, and I know how to teach other people how to do that too. Because to me, it feels simple, where to other people, it might feel complex. So like, let's break it down into smaller steps and figure out together what's going to work best. And I really enjoy that, and connecting with the students in the academy, as well as continuing to be a student myself. I get to learn alongside them, and we have new opportunities and new challenges together, which is really fun to be able to work through those things, and to see them get their first wins is so fulfilling too.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a whirlwind, right? Coaching creators and going through that. But I think overall, like, the most qualified people to coach and train and help are the people who have done it directly, right? And I think that even when you do have a little bit of an imposter syndrome, since things happen just so quick like that, sometimes they catch up to us. But at the same time, it's like there's no one more qualified than yourself when you've done it, right? So with that being said, what was your biggest doubt before making that commitment into yourself? What would you say to others who might be dealing with the same struggle before investing into themselves?
Yeah, well, investing into yourself is always the best investment you can make, but it sometimes doesn't feel that way, especially when you're coming at it from, I had a lot of a lack mindset around money, and I still do sometimes, but it was like, okay, is it going to be worth it? Am I going to succeed? Am I going to make my money back? And that's what I tell other people, if you can picture yourself a year from now with what you've learned and the money that you're making, is that investment even going to matter? And it's going to matter in that it grew you, but not that you spent it, right? And so I just was like, I'm going to take a leap of faith. And the signs were everywhere to do it.
Yeah.
When I was kind of mulling it over, I got a sticker, which is on my computer right here, in the mail from this thing that I've ordered, a phone case or something. And it literally says, nothing changes if nothing changes. I'm like, okay, I'm hearing you. Yeah. I'm understanding that I'm on the right path. And I think there was just a lot of green flags coming into this process that I was like, I would be silly to ignore these.
Yeah, I like that. There's signs, definitely. Follow the signs, follow the path. And Sydney, last thing, for the beginner listening to this, what's the one thing you would tell them that could help them propel, right, and change their life? What's the mindset lesson that you would tell them that would help them propel with their UGC business, change their life, and help them grow as a person?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say, don't feel like you have to do everything all at once. And a lot of my students have heard me in our one-on-one coaching saying, like, how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. If you try to do everything all at once, it's going to feel overwhelming. I know that because that was me when I first started. Just take those small bites, get the portfolio done, film that first video, get on Instagram, participate in the challenges, go to the coaching classes if you're, you know, part of the academy. And if not, like, find a community, right? Figure out who your people are, do the research and see how much you can learn by just doing it. But yeah, a lot of the things that you do in the beginning of setting up your business feel really daunting because there's a lot of it, but truly you only have to do them once. We create the portfolio one time. It changes, but we create it once. We set up the campaigns, we set up our systems, and then everything else is kind of, you take it as it comes. And so don't be afraid to get started. I feel like there's a lot of people who doubt whether they're deserving of it or creative enough or smart enough or whatever. But like, if you doubt yourself for too long, you're leaving opportunity for people who are less qualified than you to do the thing that you want to do, because it's all about who does it, right? If you're out in front and you're making it known that this is what you're doing and you're showing up, it's going to pay off. But if you just sit around wishing for something, like, that's not a strategy.
Yeah. Wow, I like that. And I know that probably changed a bunch of lives watching this call. Yeah, wow. Sydney, it's been a wonderful time having you on and listening to your story. And I know you inspired many people with this podcast. So, Sydney, where can people find you on social media to connect?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Sydney.Yancey, YANCY.UGC. And you can connect with me there. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, Sydney. And until next time.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Okay, it is now 1 month after this interview with Sydney, and she kept going at her business. She kept continuing and going all in, and she didn't look back. Sydney told me today live that she hit her next crazy milestone. Listen to this. I don't know if you guys saw, you guys have been in this call for a bit, but Coach Sydney just hit a huge milestone with her business, and she hit a freaking crazy win today and yesterday. Sydney, just fill everybody in what's been happening over the past couple days inside your business.
Yeah, like, my palms are sweating. It's been a whirlwind of a week since I mean, even we last talked, you and me, on Tuesday, and just kind of trying to, like, let go of trying to control fucking everything and saying yes to more. And yes, Dave, I got another popcorn effect. I got my very first retainer deal that I negotiated up to $1,500 a month. That I'm going to be doing some creative strategy for. So not in, like, UGC content creation, but creating a roster of creators for a brand, which is going to be really cool. And then I negotiated $500 for 2 videos with this brand that I cold pitched on Bento. And then just now got a $300 deal from my 4th Bento pitch. So it pays to be annoying, guys. Like, just literally in the email, they were like, we really appreciate your persistence. I was like, dope. I'm glad you appreciate how annoying I have been. But now they're paying me money and they need something by next week. So they're overnighting product to me. And I'm $250 away from my first 5K month. I'm freaking out.
That's exciting. That's vibes right there.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm just buzzing from the weekend and the event in Atlanta and just really just kind of leaving myself open to just not trying to do too much and setting my ego aside, which has been something I've struggled with because I think I'm great, but, like, I kind of got to earn it. So yeah, very, very exciting. And I really appreciate everybody's support. You guys have been amazing. Like, I'm glowing. It's been so cool.
Yeah, where that sun hitting you too. That bad boy is hitting right. It's been a really crazy week.
It's the glow of success. It's the glow of success, I like to call it. Yeah. And also you're going through the popcorn effect, which is so cool. You're like, pop. It's like pop, 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 pop. And it's like, it's happening right now for you. Sydney, we had a conversation. We had a podcast like around a month ago. And you're at a different part of your business. And now that you've gone through over the past month a lot of trials and tribulations and a lot of hardships even, and you've worked so hard and you put your head down and you're just like bulldozing through every single problem. You're reaching out for help and you're doing all of that. But the question is, what has changed over the past like month for you to hit this next milestone of almost your first $5,000 month, in your opinion?
Releasing control and just surrendering to what is going to happen. Manifestation for sure. I've been doing that much more consciously. But also just like the work, like I'm doing the work. Like we can talk about mindset all day long and it's great to have a great mindset, but like if you don't show up and like do shit, I've been posting on Instagram regularly. I've been updating my portfolio regularly. I've been shooting in public, which I don't ever do. Like I'm doing so many things that were outside of my comfort zone before that I know that I'm capable of because I've proven that it's not hard. It's just about being persistent, being consistent, showing up every single day. Like literally I'm sitting here in the closet for hours and hours a day, making sure that like my business is running correctly. And it's definitely been a lot of growth over the last 6 or 7 months. But if you had told me when I started UGC in October of last year that I would be hitting 5K in my 6th month, I would have thought that was nuts.
Yeah, you out here with it.
Yeah,
out here with it.
You're killing it, Sydney. And I'm like, when you texted me that, like in the WhatsApp chat, I'm like, no way. Like it just keeps happening. It's like you don't know. Like you look at the popcorn effect and everybody else, and when it starts happening to you, you're just like, whoa, this is like absolutely real. You're like, wait, it's happening to me. It's starting. It's going.
Yeah.
You know, and it's such a like fulfilling feeling.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those things that like, I'm also to the point where I'm like, I have things set up that I'm not going to be chasing deals next month to match it. Like, you know, you're setting yourself to the point with like retainers or making clients happy that they want to keep working with you or having conversations that are planned for the next month. Like, it's just about getting ahead of yourself and not trying to like take whatever's thrown at you. Like to that end, I also said no to about $650 worth of work just based on my values and the product didn't align or whatever. So it's not a matter of I am saying yes to everything. I'm saying yes to important things to me.
Absolutely. And I think that's phenomenal. And speaking of learning and speaking of like making proper decisions right around your business and then taking what you're learning and putting it into your business so you progress, what's one thing that you learned from Coach Manny as well, maybe at the event or over the past month to actually help you hit this milestone?
Yeah, I'm tapping into my creativity and my storytelling for sure. Just because I think that I personally have fallen into the like list the features kind of contrived scripts before, not only myself writing them, but also them being given to me, which is really hard sometimes because I'm like, I know that the script can be better, but like how much wiggle room, and Manny and I talked about that a little bit too. I feel like last week, it's like when you get script reads, like how much creative freedom do I actually have? And so I think I've gone back and looked at my past work and seen like even on brands' pages how it's performed compared to others, and it didn't measure up. And I needed to look at myself and say, okay, what are we changing here? Because what they did to me was not better, but because they scripted things differently, it resonated with people more. And I'm like, okay, so yes, I'm the problem. Now we have diagnosed it and we're going to fix it.
And then not even 1 hour after that call, as she was picking up her son from school, she hit her next big milestone on the same exact day.
Well, I officially have just hit my first 5K month doing UGC. After even a slow start to April, which is this month, I can barely wrap my head around the fact that I was hitting 2K a month. Now I'm at $5,250 contracted for the month of April, and I'm so happy right now. And I'm really, really proud of myself because I worked really hard And I sacrificed a lot to get here. And I'm literally like crying in school pickup line. This is so cool. I didn't think I would cry. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm a $5,000 a month creator, but fuck. This is awesome. This is the best feeling ever. And now I have to drive.
Yes, she hit her first ever $5,000 month and completely changed her life. Stay tuned, it's not over for Sydney. It's just getting started. You're watching UGC World.